So please welcome Megan.
Thank you. Hey everybody. This is my first time to St. Mary's and it's a gorgeous campus, so thank you for having me. I'm excited to walk around later. But yeah, so as Carmel said, my name is Megan Simmons. Our organization is called ISKME, and it has a long name. It stands for the Institute for the Study of Knowledge Management and Education. And we started out as a research institute and have since branched out into different areas, but research is still a big part of everything that we do. But basically we work in three areas. One, of course, is research. The second is we develop different technological innovations, such as OER Commons, which I will present today. And the third piece, which I spend a lot of my time doing, is our outreach piece and field building and training efforts around our OER initiative. And what I'm going to be showing today is our site and some resources for you all to explore, and we'll have some hands-on time a little bit later. But is anybody familiar with this open movement in education? Anybody heard of it before? Or open educational resources, open source? What words come to your mind when I say those things, even if maybe you've never heard of it?
Or you're sharing your resources with teachers around the world.
Definitely. Yep. That's it. What else? Other ideas?
Was Linux the first started?
Yeah, open source. Yeah.
Was Linux the first kind of thing that started?
Yeah, in terms of software, yeah, definitely. The whole open movement, really got a lot of acclaim with open source software that anybody could use and modify in different ways. And now, this has been happening for the last 15 or so years, but it's been branching out into educational resources. So not just software that you can use on your computer, but also textbooks, full courses, lesson plans, assessments, things like that. And so this is the space that we're working in, and our main goal is all about knowledge sharing in education. So we're interested in connecting different people in education, and we do that in a lot of different ways through some of our online collaborative tools that we create. Also, we do events and trainings to bring different folks together to talk about innovations in education and share ideas. We have a fellowship program, which Carmel is a part of. And so yeah, we're doing lots of different things, but we don't have time to talk about everything, but today we'll go through our site OER Commons, which we created in February of 2007, and this is funded by the Hewlett Foundation. And this is an initiative to get all of these resources that are, for sharing, that are freely available and high quality resources that people have given a certain type of license, so you can actually share them and remix them like open source software, but with resources, to get them all together and also have a way to interact with them. So we have over 50,000 resources available on OER Commons, and we're adding more every day. So every day there's something new on there. We have a whole team, a whole tech team that's what they're doing, is harvesting these resources. And really the effort for this is for you all to as easily as possible, and to support you finding the resources that can contribute to your classroom. So let's take a look at what we've got here. So this is the site, and the URL is oercommons.org. And if you just want to go ahead and get started, there's a search bar up here, and you can search for whatever keyword you're interested in. But before we get into searching, I just want to show you what we have on here. So if you click on Browse All at the top, you can see a breakdown of what kinds of materials we have on here. So by subject area, grade level, so I'm assuming you all are going to be looking at post-secondary resources. Also here you can see the types of material we have, like if it's an activity or in a lab, an assessment. Like I said, we have full textbooks and lesson plans available on here, games, simulations. And also, we have some featured searches on here, so we've been doing some specific focused projects over the years. One was on arts and social justice, really looking at arts integration into schools as so many art programs are getting cut. And a lot of those are K-12, but there are some higher ed on there as well. Open textbooks, more post-secondary, looking at these full textbooks that are available online that you can use and modify in different ways, and K-12 textbooks as well. So that's what those featured searches are for. So when you click on those, it takes you to a list of all the resources available there. I also want to show you our collection providers. So who are these fantastic people that are just opening up their resources and sharing them with everyone? Well, a lot of them are, higher ed institutions like yourself. MIT OpenCourseWare is kind of a famous one. They've invested millions of dollars in getting their resources online. Yale just shared a bunch of resources. So a lot of it's higher ed. We also have governmental organizations. We have different consortiums of teachers that are working together and sharing things online. We do a lot of work with teachers around that. Different museums, like the Exploratorium here in the Bay Area, and other education nonprofits that want to share their resources. NASA, there's a lot on here, so. But some of these may look familiar to you, some may be new. But this is under collection providers, and if you know that, I want to look at resources from the National Gallery of Art, if you click on that, it'll show you all the resources that they have shared so far. So lots of good stuff on here. Open University out of the UK, and these are international resources too. So we have providers from almost 200 countries. So there's a lot on here to see. And in places like Connections and Teacher's Domain are these repositories of teachers that have been working on creating their own lesson plans and curriculum together, and then they share them out. So there's a lot of good stuff on there. So this is just kind of an overview of what we have on the site. And like I said, you'll have time later to explore. But like I said, you can just come on and start searching there, but there's also an advanced search option, which I find more and more I'm using now because I specifically know what I'm looking for. I mean, if you're just kind of looking for inspiration, you can type in something and narrow down your search that way, but I like the advanced search option because normally I know that I want a specific thing. So I'll open it up to you guys. What's a resource that you may need to supplement your teaching or enhance your teaching, a topic or keyword that would describe that you can search for together.
Are there case studies? Are there case studies in there?
Case studies of?
Well, just in general, are there case studies available in this resource?
What are you referring to? Like research on a specific theme, or like what keywords, or what would describe the case studies that you're looking
If
for?
I were going to look at an area, I would look at educational leadership.
Okay.
And case studies would be
What you would be looking for? Are you looking for research that use case studies, or case studies for the use in the classroom?
yeah, the second.
Examples of
That's what I was wondering.
So like
if
a
they were
reading, like
available.
an article or reading or something?
No.
Or research report, or?
Can somebody translate? I'm not doing it.
Yeah, case studies that could be used in the classroom for students to analyze.
Okay,
So-
okay, got it,
Casework is classwork.
Thank you.
okay.
What'd you say?
So
Casework
the
for
theme that you,
classwork.
but the keyword that you used to describe what you're looking for was educational leadership, so that's what I typed in as a keyword. So, and then I'm in the advanced search area here, so I'm looking at, do we want to look at a specific subject? We know we want it to be post-secondary. You can also choose like the media format if you want a video, or you want a downloadable document like a PDF or something. Maybe you want something that you can download on your computer. The material types, let's see, case studies. I'm thinking it might be under reading, or I don't know. This is good. This is
Simulation.
Yeah.
Do simulation.
Simulation.
Simulation, that'd be fun.
We need
Teaching
a new
and learning.
category for case studies.
Yeah.
We create
This
a new
is-
one.
I like this. Yeah. This is good. Maybe other too. And then
Maybe training, is that training materials might.
training materials. Okay. Anything
Video
else?
lectures, something like PowerPoints, or
Sorry, what was that?
video lectures, would that be like PowerPoints?
That would be actually a video recording of a lecture.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
yeah.
Let's
So there's, like, MIT is an example. They have invested in all this amazing camera equipment to record their lectures, and, some are better than others, but if you're, this is also for self-learners too, so if someone wanted to, pretty much get everything but the professor in front of them, they can access that.
That'd be good.
And one thing that I haven't talked about yet is this area of conditions of use, and it's an interesting discussion because this is where we get into the licensing. And the thing that makes open is really the licensing. So instead of the copyright, all rights reserved licensing that a lot of resources get, we refer to this whole open movement as copyleft. So there's a certain type of licensing that allows it to the author to pick and choose which kind of restrictions they want to give. And everything that's on this site is, you can access it, you can share it, and in many cases you can also modify it in some way and reshare it. So if you wanted to take certain pieces of different resources, remix it and share it, that's totally fine under certain licensing. So we broke it down because